right here, a coyote just laid out one of my chickens. Of course, I came out yelling, full steam ahead, screaming at it. Welcome back to 5 Acre Farm. I'm Luke. We may or may not have a predator problem. But to start with, we need to play the game Dead or Alive. And if you've been around chickens, then you know the game I'm talking about. So we have a chicken out here in the grass that we often play Dead or Alive with, usually Polishes. But you can, Caitlin can zoom in, get up or walk up there and see if it's dead or alive. Are you dead or alive, chicken? Hey. Whoa, hey. Whoa. No, it's definitely alive. That's a dead or alive game, usually has a positive outcome. But the biggest thing with knowing if you have a predator or not, you got to read the small signs. And I've talked about this in another video a long time ago. Everybody asks us, what do I do for predator control? Well, all of our birds get put up at night in some type of coop, get locked up. The biggest thing I saw the other day was some chicken wire that was messed up over here. Watch out, guys. But this chicken wire right here has a hole in it. So I don't think that was from the piglets, but we didn't find any dead birds. So my guess is it's either a skunk or a possum. Skunks and possums will get into a pen just for the eggs most of the time. Out here anyway, they're after the eggs, not the chicken. If a coon was getting in there, you'd have feathers everywhere. But we'll go look at the yellow golden pheasant pen. I think something was trying to dig into that the other day, so let's go look at that. So the corner of this pen I saw a couple days ago before the rain, it looked like something was trying to dig up underneath it. And then it looks like last night there was a little more digging. But since this digging isn't right up next to the fence, this is probably armadillos. So we do have armadillos occasionally. They will kind of root up a yard like a pig. They usually aren't going to try to get into a pen, but something to think about when you're trying to read sign of what the biggest thing is we're doing today is, or the next couple days, is to get a little recon mission. We got to figure out what we're dealing with, and then we'll figure out how we're going to trap it or get rid of it. So I did see some poop. We're gonna go look at some poop. That's just what you guys wanted to do. Crikey, mate, we got some poop in the wilderness. Let's pick it up and eat it and figure out what it is. But this is a couple days old. I don't know how well you can see it with my shadow, but this is raccoon poop. So raccoon poop comes in multiple different flavors. Not that I've tasted them, but their acids in their stomach don't break down what they're eating as much as some of the other mammals like we do. But newsflash, corn doesn't digest in raccoons just like it does in humans. But this looks like he had some sand plums for dinner, and a bunch of them. I don't know why he made his way up to the farm. You guys have probably seen in the drone footage that we don't have a ton of trees out here, but we do occasionally have raccoons. Out here we call them prairie coons. They'll live in a sandbank or a rock pile, or they don't necessarily have to have a tree to live in. But coons are usually people's biggest problem when it comes to predator issues. Another one of our predators is coyotes. We don't have foxes. You know, we get a lot of people saying, well, we couldn't do what you're doing because of XYZ predator. well, we don't have whatever, you know, tree swinging monkey that kills your chickens. We have skunks, possums, raccoons, and coyotes. We do sometimes deal with snakes when it comes to they eat eggs, but the skunks and possums most of the time are going after the eggs. The coons will kill birds, and then the coyotes will kill birds. Coyotes are opportunistic. They don't work that hard unless they're starving, but temperatures are starting to drop. We're starting to come into fall, and they got to start eating. So they're going to start desperate measures. They're going to start getting closer to the farm and start getting riskier. So today we're going to set up some trail cameras and maybe set up a couple traps. I do have a couple live traps. So I'm not going to trap out here in the pasture because we don't own this pasture. And the gentleman that does own it likes to drive his side-by-side out here. And I don't want him to accidentally drive over a trap, a camera, or definitely don't want him to step on anything. We're not going to set any footholds for coyotes today. We need to see if we have any coyotes on camera before we dive into that. But I do have a couple live traps we can set for raccoons if that's what shows up on camera. I know we have at least one raccoon. This is the second pile of scat I've seen on this road to the farm. So we're going to set up probably up close to the trees. We're going to go look at a water hole up here and see if we see any tracks. And then we might just set up a couple traps over there. Like I said, I have 3 cameras we need to set up, so let's go do that. So this is our compost pile where we put all of our wood shavings, and the tracks look like they've been rained on, but something was digging in the compost pile. Oh yeah, that's coyote poop. So there you have it. Coyote poop. And here's raccoon poop. Talking about corn. Corn and wheat. So it looks like we got critters coming to the compost pile. There's a lot of this, what I say a compost pile is a lot of wood shavings, wood chippings, the wood pellets we use for bedding. All that stuff has feed mixed into it. And then we also throw our eggshells from hatching out here that don't hatch. So this is full of food, like chicken food, chicken poop, chicken feathers. When we butcher chickens, all the feathers go into the compost pile. As you can see right here, that's all composting feathers from butcher day. So, but for the most part, it's eggshells and wood shavings. But, so I think we're going to set up a camera here. I want to go look at this water hole and see if there's some tracks over here. There's a few little, what look like possum tracks. A lot of times the coons and coyotes and everything will come and drink out of these mud holes. But we've got several inches of rain the last several days, so there's little mud holes everywhere. So just because I don't see them in this mud hole doesn't mean they aren't coming by here. I don't see anything, but this was dry just a couple days ago. So let's set up a camera over here on the compost pile, and then we might set a trap there too, just because it looks like a coon's coming by. The problem is there's so much stuff in that compost pile the raccoons can eat. I don't know if he'll necessarily want to go into a trap. So let's get some stuff set up here. So now we've determined we're going to use a trail camera right here. So today's sponsor is Guarde Pro trail cameras. Now they've hooked me up because they know, just like you guys, predators and farms go hand in hand. So The first one we got here is the E8 2.0 Pro, which is a Wi-Fi camera. So what that means is, since we're right here next to the house, I can drive up next to it. I don't have to get off the mule. I can pull up the app. They have a really easy app that syncs to your camera, and we can just pull the photos right off the camera up to 165 feet. So that's what the dual antennas are for. So you can enjoy a stronger, more stable Wi-Fi connection even at a longer distance. 165 feet, which is plenty far. It's just perfect for if you're in a like if you're going to check a trail camera for deer, you don't have to walk in necessarily, or you can get up in your tree stand and still check your trail cameras on your camera without pulling out an SD card and plugging it into your phone and all that. This camera also has 4K video with sound, a 7800 milliamp rechargeable battery. They also sent me the solar panels, which will save me from having to take these batteries or these cameras back to the house and recharging them. The cameras themselves take a 64 megapixel image and a 0.1 second trigger speed. So that's extremely fast. Now I've been playing around with these for the last couple days, and I've tested about all the trail cameras you can think of because I'm a big deer hunter, and I think these guys are just as good as any of the other trail cameras that I've used. Very well made, heavy duty antennas, big screen inside. All the buttons are easy to work, but we're going to turn it on here and get this thing. Here's your rechargeable battery, but this one's the Wi-Fi. You can see the live view there, but we're going to get this set up here, and then we have another E8 2.0 we're going to set up here around the farm so I can check it every morning. But the other camera that I think is going to be a game changer, I can set this up out in the pasture. This is the X66 Pro. This is their Wi-Fi camera. If you know anything about trail cameras, or not Wi-Fi, but cell cameras. Cell cameras are becoming a big thing right now, and the X66 Pro runs on 4G, and it'll send it straight to your phone. So you don't have to be right up next to it. You don't have to pull SD cards. Cell cameras are the next thing. Big antenna. This camera, you can have live check, so you can pull up on your app, see the live video, what's currently going on. You can sync your GPS location to the app. Again, it has a 7800 milliamp rechargeable battery, the 4G LTE cell with the SIM card already in it, and it has phenomenal high quality night vision. So all the way up to like 100 feet. So this camera is going to be awesome. I'm going to set this one up probably about a half mile from the house and kind of get an idea if the coyotes are coming from that way or if they're coming from this pasture or that pasture. Then we can kind of reevaluate and game plan how we're going to use this cell camera from Guarde Pro. Again, we're going to set up the Wi-Fi, the E8 2.0 Pros right here at the house. If you guys want more information about any of these Guarde Pro cameras, there'll be a link down in the description with a discount code to save you guys some money. So let's get these guys set up and figure out what we're dealing with here, and maybe even set a trap. So we got the camera connected to our Wi-Fi on the phone. I can literally live view it. I don't know. You can see Caitlin. You see my finger. It's got a little bit of a lag time, but it's going to look straight down this. There's kind of 2 entries past this tree behind us, so this will do a really good job. I guess you can see there. It'll do a really good job seeing where we're at here. But that's live view, and I'm going to set it up and to the highest. We're going to set it on video, and then I'm going to set a trap, live trap right here. Now that we got the camera set up, these live traps work best if you have some type of backing. So I'm gonna try to scrape it down a little bit. This way nothing tries to come in from behind it. They make kind of sleeves and stuff you can put over these things to keep predators from trying to reaching through the trap. Alright, I think that'll work. I'm just going to pull some of this compost around it. Maybe that'll help keeping them from trying to reach in there to get cat food, which is most of what I use for bait. Just sprinkle that in there. And this is most likely going to catch a coon, a possum, or a skunk. So coyotes really won't mess with this stuff. But we're going to have the video, or the camera is on video mode. So we're going to see if something does come up and work it and not get caught, and see if we get outsmarted. But I have another trap, so let's go set it. We got another E8 2.0 with the solar panel set up on my electric fence post here, right next to the eggmobile and the pasture hens. This is kind of the road that Scat was on. I shouldn't have a problem with the landowner on a cage trap. I just didn't want to set a foothold trap out here. I got a little bit of cat food and some range cubes. So I already looked at the live feed and I got this set up just right. And I got this tall grass here behind me as kind of backing. Keep whatever, hopefully a raccoon from coming around the backside. Put a little cat food in there. Coons can smell good, but I'm going to throw a little bit of food out there in the road. Pique their interest a little bit. And then we're just going to get it set here. And boom. Big old prairie coon in here in the morning. We're going to have video of it too. So I got the camera set up to 1080 HD with 10-second video clips. So I'll just be able to pull up right next to it and Wi-Fi it straight to my phone. Let's go about a half mile that way and set up over there, set up the cell camera over there. See if any coons are coming from that way or if they're all coming from this way. We're out here in the pasture. I got the X66 with a solar panel. Again, this is the cell camera. And I keep mowed paths out here on this 160 acres that we manage. And so we're going to see if we can't get any videos of coyotes coming to the farm or going away from the farm. Maybe some deer walking by. I don't know. I got it all set up on the app. I'll be able to wake up first thing in the morning, check video. But I did bring a little something special to hopefully get a coyote on film. When you have 1,000 chickens like we do, and if you've owned chickens, then you completely understand and know that chickens die for no reason all the time. So we've been asked that question, what do we do when we have chickens die? Well, we usually throw them in our burn pit, and then, or we haul them off down the road and dump them. We try not to attract coyotes or predators to our area. So today or yesterday, I had a chicken that croaked for some reason. So instead of hauling it off and dumping it, I'm going to set it here and see if I can't get a coyote. If I do get a coyote on camera grabbing this chicken, then I may come back and set a foothold trap here. A lot of times coyotes are pretty smart, so they will figure out that if there's a food source in a location, they're going to keep coming back to it until that food source is gone. So if he takes it tonight or in the next day or so, then I will come back and set a foothold trap or a couple of them out here, and maybe he'll come back and try to get him another snack and we'll catch him. But we're going to use these cameras to get some intel and see what kind of predators we're working with out here. But I guess we'll see you guys tomorrow if we have any video, or the next day, and go from there. my chickens just bolted, and I come out here, and right here a coyote just laid out one of my chickens. Of course, I came out yelling, full steam ahead, screaming at it, which would have been a video in itself. He barreled off back in here next to the pickup, but he didn't kill the chicken. The chicken, after he dropped the chicken, he took off. The chicken took off, but I don't know if this chicken's gonna make it or not. That coyote had him for a couple seconds. Hang in there, chicken. Are you gonna make it? Yeah, you were in a coyote's mouth. Holy smokes. Talk about an adrenaline rush. I'm not sure this chicken's gonna make it. This morning when I was checking the traps, I had a coyote just on the north side of the trees come barreling out. I don't think this chicken's gonna make it. That's crazy. Yeah, this morning, get my hand out of the way. This morning I was on the back side of these trees here, checking the videos on the live trap, and there was a coyote that came by, and then I just happened to look up and I saw a flash of something run into my trees just over here. So I drove down there, and immediately the coyote took out of the trees back into the corn. So, and that was at 8 o'clock this morning. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon right now. So the coyotes are coming out at 3 in the afternoon, barreling into my yard. I mean, he got that chicken 10 yards in front of me. Obviously, if I knew what was going on, you just don't have time to grab a gun or anything. But it's game on now. Last night, I'll insert the video, but I put that dead chicken half-mile from here and got several coyotes. One of them came and got the chicken. So, and then several more times during the morning, a coyote came back to that spot on camera. So you'll see that video here. And then at 8 o'clock in the morning, I got another video of a coyote going by. So usually coyotes are nocturnal, but this cold front I think's got them turned up a little bit, and now they're just catching chickens in broad daylight. The downside is I have so many chickens, if one disappears, I'll never really know. So who knows how many chickens these coyotes are getting during the day, sneaking in on the trees and grabbing a chicken, I guess. But so I guess this evening I'm going to be setting some foothold traps. The problem is it's supposed to rain really bad tonight, and foothold traps with rain don't go over well. I'm not going to show you guys now, but this chicken that coyote caught is not going to make it. So I'm gonna keep my head on a swivel today and keep the shotgun loaded, I guess. If I start hearing any more chickens screeching, I'm gonna come out guns a-blazing. But this chicken didn't make it. That coyote had it dead to right. I mean, all right, game on now. I've killed a lot of coyotes, and I've killed them in my yard before, so this ain't nothing new to me. I've been needing to do this for a long time. I just have never got around to it. Getting those 2 mounts mounted up on the mule and keep her locked and loaded. That happened so fast, I don't even think I could have, even if I could have ran to the mule, grabbed the gun, came around the corner, maybe I could have got a shot. I bet from the time it came out of the trees, had the chicken and was back to the trees, it was less than 8 seconds. That happened so fast. Livestock guardian dog, it would have had to have been sitting right here to prevent that. Like, if that guardian dog was literally anywhere else on the farm when that happened, it wouldn't have prevented that. The biggest problem right now, and I'll show you, is the corn hasn't been cut yet, and our house is completely surrounded by corn, standing corn. So these coyotes or predators can get right up next to the house. So this is all standing corn, which means for a mile that way is standing corn. Now my trail camera is that way too, half mile. This is the way the coyote came from, but they can sneak right through this corn, get right into these trees, and be within 10 yards of the garage. And the chickens are out here in these trees all day. So they could easily cover a ton of ground out here right now without being detected because of this standing corn. I think if this corn was cut, I don't think we'd have near the problem we do, or did, because coyotes in broad daylight don't like to run out in the wide open. But like I said, it's game on. I'm gonna get chores done here real quick, and then I'm gonna get a bunch of footholds set this afternoon. Gonna give you guys a quick rundown. So as you guys just saw, we had the coyote come through the yard. This area right here is the corn that I showed you guys in that last video. So the road comes around there's a little 2-track that comes around our property, and there's a low spot in the corn going south and another short row back here going to the west. So, and it's really thick just on the other side of this corn here. This corn's only 50 yards wide. This side goes on for a half mile. So I'm not gonna give you, this isn't a trapping video. Maybe down the road I'll do a whole video on trapping. I haven't trapped and I haven't seriously coyote trapped in several years. The fur prices tanked, it just wasn't profitable, so it's not worth my time. But now that it's an issue, I kept all my trapping stuff just for this reason. So I'm going to give you a crash course on coyote trapping, and there's a ton of ways to do this. This is just how I used to catch a ton of coyotes back in the day, back when they were worth something. So I picked up the cameras from my other 2 spots with the live traps. Right now, coyotes are the focus, because if they're going to try to steal my chickens in the middle of the daylight or in the middle of the afternoon, then we got to put an end to this problem. The downside is it's supposed to rain all night, which I don't have any dry dirt or wax dirt like I said, this isn't a trapping video or a how-to video, but I'm going to give you a crash course on some of the things I use for catching coyotes. So, a drill with an auger. We're going to do a dirt hole set. The traps I'm using are Bridger number 2s, offset, laminated, 4 springs, with an inline spring and an earth anchor. So these are a holding device. These are not a kill trap or this does not hurt the animal. It literally just closes on them and holds them. So all you people that are anti-trapping, this is just a restraining device. It does not hurt them. That's why I use an offset jaw, so it can close tighter, and it's laminated, which means it has a bar on top, so there's more surface area touching the leg. But I have them set up for night latch. I have a big pan here, but 4 coil throws the trap faster, plenty of chain, and yeah. So I got 3 trail cameras, so I'm going to set up 3 traps for now. If we don't catch them in the first couple days, we're going to have to do more. So a sifter, so we can sift the dirt, get the big chunks out. I use window screening to put over the trap to keep dirt from getting underneath the pan. The pan has to be able to go down. So this is just to keep the dirt from going underneath the pan, so when they step on it, it decreases. Some people use wax paper, some people use cotton balls underneath. I found screening works the best. A broom to kind of smooth the area out. A little shovel. This is my earth anchor rod, so I can hammer those down in. My shovel, which it's a trapper shovel. Those are kind of the main things. And then baits. These baits are probably 6-7 years old, so I'm sure they smell extra delightful. I got a coyote gland lure and a gusto lure, which I'm afraid to open this one. I'm pretty sure it's the skunk smell. This thing you can smell for 100 yards with a human nose, so the coyotes can smell this thing from several hundred yards. So let me get everything kind of organized. I think I'm going to set up the trap right off this corner. Right now we have a southeast wind, so any dog that comes through this area, you got to play the wind when you're trapping, because they're not going to see this little dirt hole set. They're going to smell it and then work into it. So plus I have a T-post here I can set up the camera on. So let me open this call lure up. A call lure is kind of as the name implies, it calls them from a long distance. Whew. Oh, just the crack of it. Oh. Yep, that's the skunk lure. Oh. Probably doesn't help that it's been sealed up since 2015. Oof. Anyway, coyote urine is another good thing, but I don't have any of that. Let's get set up here. So coyotes are a real greedy creature. So this is going to imitate like a hole or a mouse hole, or an area where another coyote has buried something. So I'm gonna get me a hole going here. Again, kind of like the live traps, I'm having backing, so we want the coyote to step right here. Alright, so coyotes' biggest defense mechanism is their nose. So I try to sit on something that doesn't put my clothing scent on the ground, and then I use gloves, mainly so if I catch my hand in a trap, it's easier to get it out, plus to keep my scent off the dirt. Right now, coyotes really aren't thinking about trappers. They can get very trap educated. Around here, they haven't lately because nobody traps anymore. Man, this is some wet dirt, which is not ideal. It's pretty much mud. I really wish I had some dry dirt, but again, really wouldn't matter because it's going to rain up to 2 inches tonight. Hopefully, we have a coyote come through before it starts raining on us. So, I'm going to put the earth anchor, hammer it down. I take the earth anchor all the way down to the spring, and then to set the earth anchor, you give it a tug if you can, I guess. That turns the earth anchor sideways underground. This inline spring allows the dog to pull on it, so it has just a little bit of give. I'm not as big a boy as I used to be, so I'm going to stand up to set this, not do it by hand. And these little rubber boots aren't quite ideal. So this trap has what's called a night latch. So you hook the dog up. Like I said, this isn't a how-to video. It's just kind of explaining. I have it set to, this one's pretty tight. Ooh. Man, that night latch is barely hanging on. Probably the amount of rust. I haven't used these in so long. I'm gonna go with it. Alright, this is where it gets dicey. So I have it night latched, which that pan is extremely flat there. Keep my fingers out of the way. I'm gonna bed this spring, make a little bit of spot here for the ears. You want this trap to be flat, as if it's even with the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and, you got to pack the trap. Last thing a coyote will catch on real fast if he steps somewhere on this trap and it moves underneath his foot. He'll dig that trap up and take a crap on it. Ask me how I know. So we're just going to bed the trap here with some mud, essentially. This is not ideal, like I said. It looks like I'm packing it tight, but there's enough force on those springs to lift this trap up out of the ground. Make sure there's no sticks in the way. Put my little screen right over top here. Try not to set it off. I like about a 3-pound trap. if I can get enough sifted dirt over the top of it to hide it. The problem is, as soon as it rains, it's gonna expose the trap if I don't have it. So I can hide a little bit of this stuff. Take some of this grass. Kind of hide the trap. Give them a little spot to step. We're going to pull some more little dirt out of this hole so it looks like something just made that set. We're looking at about 9 inches from the hole to where the foot pan is. And that's about where the front foot is of the Coyote. So, like I said, there's a ton of different ways to do this. This is just the way I do it. Have done it in years past. I'm sure there's a better way to do this. I'm missing something. But I'm going to put some bait in here now. Unfortunately, we lost a chicken to that coyote, so nothing goes to waste. We're going to use the feathers. Take a stick here, get a good old glob onto the feathers. We're going to shove these feathers down the hole. That way, if he wants to dig it up, he'll have to work for it. Which, in turns, hope he will. And I'll leave a few feathers out. So that's the bait. That's what he's going after. I'm going to hold off on the coyote gland and get this skunk call lure. Oh, Jesus. All this is going to do is get their attention. It don't take much. Little goes a long ways. Definitely don't want to get that on your fingers. All right. So, that's the trap. We're going to call that a success and go set 2 more. Now that we got the trap set up, I got the trail camera set up here. I'm going to put it on video. This is the Wi-Fi one, so I'll be able to check it just by driving up to it. But again, it's kind of a intersection, transition area. I can smell that call lure from here. It smells like a skunk bad. But let's go set up a couple more. Location number 2, we're over here at the big 10-acre sunflower field. So to put into perspective, that way is south, and that goes to the county road, which is a 1/4 mile that way, and then there's a fence line that runs a whole nother mile. Coyotes run fence lines, they run mowed paths, they run roads. They're pretty easy to pattern once you figure them out. They like to follow, they don't like to cut across wide open areas as much. They'll follow trails, cattle trails, fence lines, they'll go through gates, that sort of thing. So we have the mowed path going that way. That's the house right back there. So we're about 400 yards from the house. That coyote from this morning, he darted out and came this way. The chicken trail camera The cell camera is just another 400 yards or 300 yards this way. So we're going to keep that one there. We're going to put that dead chicken we have now down there, because that coyote, I don't know if it's the same one or not, but that coyote came back took the chicken at like whatever, sometime in the morning, came by several times in the morning, and then came back at 8 o'clock in the morning during daylight and 11:30 in the morning during daylight. So he's running this road looking for more chickens, apparently. But we have a southeast wind, which that way is southeast. So what we're gonna do is set up right here on the corner of the sunflowers. That way the smell of the scent covers this whole intersection. So any coyote that comes from the south, the west, or the east, this is kind of a four-way or a three-way crossing right here. So any coyotes that come through here are gonna get the wind blown right to them. Coyotes always go downwind of a set and then work their way into it. So let's get it set up. Just like that, set number 2 is ready. I took one of the feet off the chicken, threw it in the hole, but the pan is right there. So should be the perfect spot to catch one. Let's get the trail camera set up. We're gonna kind of hopefully make this trail camera a little more discreet, hiding it over here. We're gonna connect. Searching for the Wi-Fi signal from that camera. We're gonna join the Wi-Fi. Alright, we're gonna start. We're gonna live view, and boom. There we are. So that trap should be right in front of my foot, which is perfect. I might angle it a little more that way. There we go. Yep. That way we can get more of this road if something comes by. There you go. Pretty nifty cameras. Let's go down here where we set up the dead chicken last night and put this other one. Alright, we got the Wi-Fi camera here. And this is where I set up the chicken yesterday. Was right in here somewhere. And you can see all these weeds are matted down. So several coyotes have come since that chicken has been gone and sniffed this spot. So there's a few feathers left. Like there's a clump of feathers here. So I'm gonna leave all the feathers, or some feathers down there too. I'm gonna leave those down there. But I'm gonna reset this spot. Now, the coyote came here yesterday, got a free chicken with no trap. So now I'm gonna give him a free chicken with a trap. So let's get that one set up. I'll use skinny jean wearers. Keep your comments to yourself if you don't like trapping. Nobody cares. Alright, we got set number 3 done. And I think it probably looks as good as any of them. Now that the coyote knows there's free chickens over here. So I put the chicken that the coyote killed today, I tucked it up underneath the bush here. You can see the little black chicken down there. And I ran a rebar stake through it. So just in case the fact that a coyote comes up to it and just tiptoes around it and grabs a feather and pulls and like sneaks it out of there, this way the chicken won't go anywhere. So they'll have to work at it, which means they'll have to put their foot right where we want them to. So the trap is right in here. about 7 to 9 inches. Again, we have the road to the east. There's the farm over there. And then the cell camera and the road to the west. So there you have it. That's kind of a quick run through of how I set coyote sets, and we'll figure out here tomorrow if we caught anything. So you guys are gonna see this video, the video clips from tonight, before I will. So enjoy.